All right, hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl T, aka T Fairy, and I'm back at it again with another video. It has been a long time since I've recorded a video, and also I'm trying something new. For the first time, I am recording using my back camera. This feels really weird because I'm used to being able to see myself, see where I'm looking. Like, I really don't know right now. It's like, do I look directly in the camera? Do I look at the stuff that's behind? Like, it's really weird for me. I don't like this, but I did notice the camera quality was a lot better. So comment down below what y'all think. Like, do you prefer my other method of doing videos, or is this a vibe? But yeah, I'm so happy to be back here. I am sad that the video of me coming back is this topic. As you can see down below, based on the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about the time that I was ghosted. Not by a man, not by a friend, not by somebody who owed me some money, but by my therapist. I was ghosted by my therapist, and that's like the last person that you would probably ever expect to ghost you, but it happened to me. So let's just get into it. So I'm trying to see, like, where do I even want to begin? So I guess just to first do a history of me going to therapy. I've been going to therapy for a while. It's not really something that's like taboo for me. Like, I maybe don't always like telling other people about it. Like, so in that sense, I am still embarrassed and it's taboo, but I'm gonna go to therapy. I know that I need it, things like that. So, and I really like made it a point to find a Black therapist, and I think now more than ever, like, there's so many ways that you can find one, and you want to support somebody in the community, but then you also want somebody who you feel like is going to understand your issues more because of a shared experience, a barrier being removed because you can relate to them, especially because I like prefer to have Black female therapists. So just having that, relationship, some common ground, you think, okay, like, this is gonna be a great experience, until it's not. and it honestly hurts more to have it come from somebody who you like trusted more off the bat, just because of that. And then the fact that you did enjoy like the work that y'all were doing together, like, it stings really badly. But let's just talk about it. I'm getting hot, so this little blanket has gotta go off my lap. Okay, hopefully you can't see it. If you see it, it will be folded after the video. But yeah, so I started seeing this therapist in November, I want to say, probably I believe like October, November, sometime around there of 2021. And so rewind a little bit, like, I had been looking for therapists. I did a lot of calls to different therapists, predominantly, and if not all, Black therapists. Gave them a call, trying to get on somebody's list. Didn't really hear back from a lot of them. So, and it was one lady, I heard back from her, tried her out. It just wasn't a good fit, which sucked, because like, that was already like the second therapist I've ever been to. So then, well, and not even, but that's a whole other story. It's a whole other story. But so second, that I planned to be long term. And then I went, sorry, I'm all over the place. Regroup. So met with this lady, the second person. Things weren't going well. And I was like on the fence of like, do I want to cut her off? What do I want to do? And in the midst of that, this person called me and reached back out and was like, hey, I got a voicemail saying you're looking for a therapist, da 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 da. I didn't even remember who she was, just being honest, because it had been like at least a month probably since I had reached out doing that search I did. And so to hear from her, like I didn't know who she was. I didn't remember a thing. But obviously, like at some point I had contacted her, and I happened to be in the market again because I kind of wanted to let this current lady go. So it was like, oh, perfect. Like my prayers have been answered. So I was really like, oh my gosh, like this must be the one. This is a sign. This is whatever. Because like I said, that was like over a month ago I reached out to her, and like you listen to my voicemail, still follow back up. So you know, you're kind of up here for me right now. Well, it was a little sketchy though. Like it took you so long to get back to me, but she was like, oh, I had COVID, whatever. And I was like, whatever. So that was that. And so I started seeing her. We did a consultation. It was pretty cool. Like I was like, good enough. The one red flag was that she did not take insurance. And that's gonna be another video that I do. So stay tuned for that one. But that was the one thing. But at the time I had these therapy vouchers, and I really was just passionate about being in therapy. So I was like, I don't care, like I'll make a way, whatever. So started seeing her, and I had been seeing her. Things were going good. Like it felt good. It was helpful. And really in 2022, I really started to see myself making some changes, and like that felt great. And I don't know if like, you know, it was 100% her or just me being through all that I had been through up until that point and just wanting to change. But I definitely think like she aided in that, and it was just a great time. It was a great relationship. I started making progress, and I was really happy. Like that's what I've been wanting for a long time now. So I don't remember exactly when, but at some point in time, things, and not even at some point, because I think it probably started, it did start before the new year. But sometimes like, I don't know. I don't know 100% if it started before the new year, but it started pretty soon. So sometimes what would happen is, one, we would say in our session, okay, we're gonna have a session next week, and then she didn't actually go in and book it on her computer or whatever, so she forgot and the session didn't happen. I would show up and kind of be sitting there waiting, but then, you know, nothing happened, or yeah. So, and it was basically like, oh, like the appointment didn't happen, or like I didn't get the link because, oh, she never actually booked it. So that would happen. And that happened at least, well, not that specific incident. So that would happen. Or sometimes we actually did have a book session and she wouldn't show up because maybe a family emergency a couple times, a doctor's appointment, or just something else. And that, a combination of either the not scheduling it or something else popping up, has happened like at least 4 times. So of course, as you can probably see, like, or as you would, I started getting a little frustrated. And not even like I was like frustrated. The biggest feeling that I ever had was disappointment and sadness, kind of like, oh, bummer. Like, that's a bummer. Like, here I am sitting waiting for you to show up and you just don't. And I was ready to talk about my feelings. And it would be like, because her appointments actually, they start on the 5, so like not the hour, but 5 minutes after. And so I'll be like, oh yeah. And so then it's like, okay, well, I'll wait 5 minutes or a 10-minute grace period. But you kind of know, like after 7 minutes, like, girl, she ain't coming. So, and I feel like she had never, like, if we had an appointment, she was never late. So I kind of already knew, but I just had this hope that, like, oh, she's gonna come, and never happened. And then here I gotta click out the link or exit the app. And that was just sad, like, and disappointed, and like, oh dang, like, girl, you didn't even hit me up. Like, that's lame, you know? Like, I think it was only one time where she hit me up, but usually it wasn't like she hit me up. Like, I had to hit her up first, like, hey, are we still on? Like, are we still meeting? Like, you good? And then be like, oh, sorry, XYZ. And that's just a lot to deal with. And I recognize that, like I said, my main feeling was disappointment and sadness, because I wanted to have that meeting. I wanted to talk about my feelings. But for somebody who is not used to therapy, somebody who's against therapy, who doesn't like it, imagine if that was them and they're getting ghosted. Like, that's how I feel. Like, they're gonna be like, man, forget this. Like, this is why I don't want to do therapy in the first place. So stuff like that really frustrates me, because it puts out a bad look. It gives a bad experience for people, and can potentially turn some people away from therapy for life. And that is really heartbreaking. That's not my story, but it does definitely add a layer of frustration in totality to have had this experience. So, red flags. But at the same time, like I said before, like, I was making progress. I really liked our sessions. Like, I felt good after. Of course, like, it wasn't perfect. Like, there was some things that could have been better, but all in all, I was happy. Didn't want to put the work in to find another therapist, because who wants to do that? So, like, I really wanted to keep her. But as this happened more and more, everybody would be like, girl, you need to ditch her. But I was like, I probably should, but I was scared to say something. And then also, just like, I really did enjoy it, our sessions, and I was growing, like I said, so I just was conflicted. So I didn't. So continued that kind of pattern. And usually, eventually, she would catch up to me. Like, if she forgot to schedule me, then sometimes I just wouldn't say nothing, unless it was like I really needed that session that day. And that was another thing that, like, sucked in this whole entire situation, is like, as I started growing, I would tell myself, like, if I was in a bad event, it's okay, I have therapy Thursday, girl, get through it, you got therapy Friday. Like, it became something to look forward to, something to keep me together in that moment. So to have had a really high stress event happen, let's say Wednesday, and then tell myself, okay, Friday though, I get to see Larry. I was about to say her real name. It's gonna be Larry today. I get to see Larry, and then Larry don't show up. It's like, oh, I don't get to see Larry. Okay. So that's what I was going through, and had to go through several times. And so then didn't get to see Larry, and then maybe an incident happened later that day, and it's like, because I tried to hold it together to see Larry, didn't get to see Larry, now it's on to the next issue. And then by the time I finally do get to see Larry again, all these issues have happened, and now it's like, where do we start? And we only got 50 minutes. So that was becoming an issue. But like I said, I was attached, and I did not want to find somebody else. So kept dealing with it, and that just kind of kept happening. And I'll say, like, on my end, maybe something that contributed to it is that, like, my schedule was really wonky. So we never had, like, a set time that we met every week. We tried to keep it the same, but it wasn't a set time. However, I feel like, just as someone interested in that type of field, like, and just in general, you have your hours of availability, and people can book you at those hours. So don't make hours. Don't say that you're available for hours that you're not going to be available. And if you have an appointment come up, if it's something you need to, I'm not available at 11 on Friday, that type of time. So even if I couldn't keep a consistent schedule, it's not like you're only available for 3 hours out of the day. Like, you have a whole, like, it should be no problem for somebody if they need to switch the times up. As long as it's booked, you say you're available, I'm available, what's the issue? So I give that like a little, maybe small contribution to the issue, but no, at the same time, like, no, definitely not for it to have happened multiple times. So the grand finale of it all is, so the last meeting we had together was July 28th, which at this point has almost been 6 weeks ago. Consequently, that is the same day that my cousin passed away. So I am very thankful that we were able to meet that day. And I even like messaged her on the portal, like, I need to know that it's gonna happen tomorrow, because like, this is already a sad day for me. I can't be stood up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to know now if it's not really gonna happen. Thankfully it happened. And then we didn't even really get to discuss what I wanted to discuss, because we got stuck on like something else that wasn't really what I wanted to talk about, but we didn't get to divert back, because I had like a really big event happen a week prior that I wanted to discuss, and we didn't get to discuss that. And then we said in the session, okay, we'll meet next Friday. And we were supposed to meet, but she did say she was gonna be traveling. So in my heart of hearts, I already kind of knew this appointment probably is not gonna happen. Just given the history, like, come on, girl. But we said it anyways. That day came a week later, and I actually was kind of busy, and the appointment didn't happen, so I was a little happy, but at the same time, like, dang, girl, like, she didn't even book it. It was one of those again. So then usually, like, I'll hear back from her or something. She'll be like, hey, you want to book? Or she'll book me, some like type of thing where she catches up. And that's something else I forgot, but whatever. The story is probably already long. So then I haven't heard back from her. So probably 2 weeks, maybe 3, I'm like, okay, like, let me go ahead and book another appointment. I book one, and it looks as though it's approved, and I think it was like the next day or 2 days from then, but like, whatever, Bookie, like, is that approved? Like, I know it sends you an email, because it sends me an email saying wait to be confirmed, and it showed up, so I'm thinking it's gonna happen. She doesn't show up. I don't hear from her. At that point, it's like, because now it's been 3 weeks since I've last heard from you. Like, what's going on? Then it turns into an even bigger issue, because now at this point, I'm about to be kicked out of my skills group, which I have to talk to y'all about in another video. And because you have to go to therapy once a month for that. So now it's kind of like, oh my gosh, like, Larry, where you at? So still haven't heard from Larry. And so then I go in to book another appointment. And that one I probably had did in like, it was like over the weekend, I think, for a Thursday, something like that. Or maybe that was, I don't know, but it was some notice. Larry did not get back to me. She didn't show up to the appointment. She didn't show up. So at this point, I did end up getting kicked out of the group. I still have not heard back from Larry. So I'm like, is Larry dead? Is there some major tragic family disaster? Like, what is going on? Like, I really don't know. and I'm concerned. But I also feel like if something did happen, like the right thing to do was that Larry like should have reached out to all of her clients to let us know what was up. And it's been over a month and that has not happened. I have not got to speak to Larry. Life is lifing. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating to say the least. And now I have to find a new therapist. And it's just hard because it's like, I guess that'll be a part 2. Because this is long. I know this is long, but yeah, that is the time that I was ghosted by my therapist. Super sad, super tragic. I would not wish that on anybody, especially because it's not even the fact that like now I have to find a new therapist. That's part 2. Part 2. I'm sorry. Okay. Part 2. Let me just do part 2 now while it's on my. Well, no, because I don't got storage like that. That'll be part 2 though. So yeah, I was ghosted by Larry. I hope you are alive and well. I do. But also, why, if you are, why would you do a sister like that? Like, and someone said like, well, maybe like she just don't want to see you. But I'm like, no, that's something you could communicate to me. If it's like you don't just ghost somebody and you see I'm booking appointments. So like, and my heart hurts, and I feel like she's not that kind of person. Like, she's trying to teach me how to be direct. Girl, you be direct. So I don't feel like it's that. I don't know what's going on, quite frankly. And to be someone who already has abandonment and attachment issues, to be abandoned by the person who you're talking about this stuff to, it's a joke. And it hurts. Like, I could legit cry a river over this situation because it really does suck. But maybe she in jail. I don't know, girl. You Larry, you better be in jail. Cause what the heck, like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But that's all I got. I done talked enough. Thank you so much for watching this video. I don't know why I'm laughing, but thank you for watching this video. Peace, love, happiness. Therapists are out.